Hello, fellow space travelers. Welcome back to Galactic Theories, the channel where we voyage through the cosmos of sci-fi possibilities. Today, we're diving into one of the most pivotal what-if scenarios in the Star Wars universe. What if Luke Skywalker had joined the dark side? Buckle up, because this hyperdrive is set to theoretical maximum. To grasp the magnitude of this alternate reality, let's revisit that critical moment aboard the second Death Star in Return of the Jedi. Luke Skywalker stands before Emperor Palpatine and his father, Darth Vader. Tension fills the air as Palpatine tempts Luke to give in to his anger and hatred. In the original timeline, Luke resists, symbolizing the triumph of good over evil and setting the stage for the Empire's downfall. But imagine if, at that decisive moment, Luke succumbed to the dark side. The young Jedi, burdened by the weight of war and personal revelations, might find the allure of power and the promise of ending the conflict swiftly too tempting to resist. This single choice would send ripples throughout the galaxy, altering destinies and rewriting the saga as we know it. First off, the Rebel Alliance would be in deep bantha fodder. Luke wasn't just another pilot or soldier, he was a beacon of hope, a symbol that the Empire could be defeated. His heroics at the Battle of Yavin and his growing reputation as a Jedi inspired countless beings across the galaxy to join the cause. His defection to the dark side would be a devastating psychological blow, shaking the very foundations of the rebel movement. Morale would plummet as rumors spread of Luke's turn. Trust within the ranks might erode, with suspicions arising about other key figures potentially switching sides. The Alliance's leadership, including Leia Organa and Admiral Akbar, would face the daunting task of rallying their forces in the face of this demoralizing news. It's possible that some factions within the rebels might even consider surrender, believing their struggle to be futile without their champion. Now picture this: Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker united as a Sith father-son team. The combined might of two of the most powerful Force users could tip the balance overwhelmingly in favor of the Empire. Their mastery of both combat and strategy would make them an unstoppable force on the battlefield. Together, they could lead Imperial forces to crush remaining pockets of resistance with ruthless efficiency. However, this new alliance would also introduce a complex dynamic within the Imperial hierarchy. The Emperor, always wary of threats to his power, might view the Skywalker duo as both his greatest asset and his biggest threat. The camaraderie, or lack thereof, between Vader and Luke could evolve in unpredictable ways, possibly leading to internal power struggles that could either strengthen or destabilize the Empire. But hold your tauntauns! Emperor Palpatine isn't exactly the sharing type when it comes to power. Historically, Sith apprentices overthrow their masters, and with two Skywalkers teaming up, Palpatine's throne would start to feel less secure. The Emperor might become increasingly paranoid, fearing that Vader and Luke could conspire against him to seize control of the Empire. In response, Palpatine could attempt to manipulate father and son against each other, exploiting any lingering conflicts or mistrust. He might offer greater power or secrets of the dark side to one in hopes of inciting jealousy in the other. This could set the stage for a dangerous game of intrigue and betrayal within the upper echelons of the Empire, adding a new layer of tension to the galactic conflict. With Luke's insider knowledge, the Imperial forces could dismantle the Rebel Alliance systematically. He knows the locations of secret bases, supply lines, and the identities of key operatives. This intelligence would allow the Empire to strike swiftly and decisively, launching surprise attacks that the rebels are ill-prepared to defend against. Key figures could be captured or eliminated, further crippling the Alliance's ability to coordinate and fight back. The psychological impact of Luke leading assaults against his former comrades cannot be overstated. Imagine the shock and despair of rebel soldiers, seeing their once hero now wielding a red lightsaber in service of the Empire. This could lead to defections, splintering of rebel cells, and a general sense of hopelessness that might be impossible to overcome. Luke was considered the last hope for the Jedi Order, the spark that could reignite the light of the Force in the galaxy. His turn to the dark side would seemingly extinguish that hope, but let's not forget, there is another Skywalker. Leia Organa, though untrained, possesses the same potential for Force sensitivity. In the face of her brother's betrayal, Leia might be compelled to embrace her heritage and undergo Jedi training. Under the guidance of surviving Jedi like Ahsoka Tano or other hidden masters, Leia could rise as a new symbol of hope. This would open up a fascinating narrative of Leia stepping into a role she was perhaps always destined for, leading a new generation of Jedi and rekindling the fight against the darkness her brother now embodies. With the Rebel Alliance crushed and the Jedi seemingly defeated, the Empire could extend its iron grip unopposed. Planets across the galaxy would be forced into compliance, facing the might of the Imperial military and the terrifying presence of the Skywalker Sith duo. The new order could impose stricter laws, surveillance, and control over every aspect of life, ushering in an era of unprecedented oppression. This total domination might also stifle innovation, culture, and freedom throughout the galaxy. The arts, education, and free thought could be suppressed in favor of propaganda and indoctrination. The galaxy could become a bleak place where fear overrides hope, and any spark of rebellion is snuffed out before it can ignite. With their combined strength, Vader and Luke might see an opportunity to seize ultimate control of the galaxy. The Sith tradition, governed by the rule of two, the Master and the Apprentice, inevitably breeds betrayal. The Apprentice is expected to one day overthrow the Master, continuing the cycle of power. Recognizing Emperor Palpatine's manipulative nature and foreseeing that he might pit them against each other, Vader could propose an alliance with his son. He might say, "Join me, and together we can end this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy," echoing his earlier plea on Bespin, but now with a more compelling proposition. Luke, disillusioned by the Emperor's ruthlessness and perhaps believing that the galaxy needs new leadership, might be swayed by his father's offer. The prospect of ruling the galaxy as father and son could be enticing, not just for the power it offers, but for the chance to reshape the galaxy's future. They could rationalize that together. They could eliminate corruption, end the war, and impose a new order that ensures peace and stability. This shared vision would set the stage for them to conspire against Palpatine, carefully planning to exploit his overconfidence and any moments of vulnerability. Their alliance would culminate in a dramatic confrontation with the Emperor. Combining Vader's experience and cunning with Luke's raw power and potential, they might catch Palpatine off guard. The battle would be intense, showcasing the full extent of their abilities in the Force and lightsaber combat. Upon defeating him, they would seize control of the Empire. However, ruling the galaxy is no small feat. Their intentions, no matter how justified they believe them to be, could lead to an even more authoritarian regime. The mantra of bringing order might translate into stricter laws, suppression of dissent, and an uncompromising stance against any form of rebellion. As they enforce their new order, the line between peacekeeping and oppression could blur. Their rule might stifle freedoms and prioritize control above all else. The galaxy could witness a different kind of tyranny, one led by the Skywalkers. This could sow the seeds of new resistance movements, uniting those who oppose their dominion. In trying to prevent chaos, Vader and Luke might inadvertently become the very embodiment of the oppression they initially sought to eliminate, setting the stage for ongoing conflict and the continuation of the cycle they aim to break. This turn of events would throw the concept of balance in the Force into disarray. The prophecy of the Chosen One, bringing balance, believed to refer to Anakin Skywalker, might be rendered null or take on a darker interpretation. Perhaps the balance shifts towards the dark side, with the light nearly extinguished. This imbalance could have cosmic consequences, affecting the very fabric of the Force. Moreover, the Force itself might react to this imbalance, perhaps awakening new Force-sensitive individuals across the galaxy. The living Force could seek to restore equilibrium, setting the stage for new heroes to rise. This could introduce unforeseen variables into the Emperor's plans, as the Force continues to weave its mysterious tapestry. But the story doesn't have to end in darkness. The galaxy is vast, and the Force works in mysterious ways. In the wake of the Rebel Alliance's fall, new pockets of resistance could emerge. Characters like Ahsoka Tano, Ezra Bridger, or even new heroes we haven't met could unite disparate groups to form a new rebellion. This grassroots movement might be harder for the Empire to detect and eliminate. These new rebels could employ guerrilla tactics, subterfuge, and leverage the Empire's overconfidence against it. The oppressive regime could inadvertently inspire more people to rise up, uniting species and planets that were previously uninvolved. The fight for freedom could take on new forms, proving that hope can never be fully extinguished. With the Sith in power, advancements in dark science and technology could accelerate. The Empire, already known for its formidable arsenal, might invest heavily in developing new superweapons. Imagine fleets of star destroyers equipped with planet-destroying capabilities, or advancements in bioengineering to create enhanced soldiers or creatures of war. This technological escalation could have dire consequences not just for the galaxy, but potentially for the Empire itself. Over-reliance on superweapons could strain resources and create vulnerabilities. Additionally, the ethical lines crossed in pursuit of such power could lead to internal dissent, even among Imperial loyalists uncomfortable with the direction their leaders are taking. Economic and social implications. Galactic economies might suffer under the Empire's oppressive policies. With strict control over trade routes and resources, the Empire could prioritize military spending over the well-being of its citizens. This could lead to shortages of essential goods, increased poverty, and widespread dissatisfaction among the populace. Social structures could also be heavily impacted. The suppression of cultural expression, education, and individual freedoms would create a homogenized society devoid of diversity and creativity. Such conditions could sow the seeds of unrest and rebellion, as people across the galaxy yearn for the liberties they once enjoyed. Ethical and philosophical musings, perception of law and order. An intriguing aspect of this alternate scenario is Luke's perception of his turn to the dark side, not as a descent into evil, but as a necessary step toward establishing law and order in a galaxy plagued by chaos. Disillusioned by the endless conflict and the seeming inefficacy of the Rebel Alliance, Luke might rationalize that joining the Empire is the most pragmatic solution to restore peace. From his viewpoint, the strict enforcement of Imperial rule could be the only way to end the suffering of countless innocents caught in the crossfire of war. This perspective adds a complex layer to his character, blurring the traditional lines between heroism and villainy. It challenges the dichotomy of the light and dark sides of the Force, suggesting that the dark side could be wielded with the intention of achieving a greater good. Luke might see the rebellion as an impediment to unity and stability, their actions prolonging chaos rather than alleviating it. By enforcing law and order, even through authoritarian means, he believes he can create a safer galaxy. This raises profound ethical questions about the use of power and the morality of imposing order through control and suppression. Is it justifiable to sacrifice individual freedoms for the sake of collective security? Luke's transformation would spark debates about ends versus means, and whether peace achieved through oppression is truly peace at all. It echoes real-world discussions on governance, security, and the fine line between leadership and tyranny. Moreover, this scenario invites us to reflect on the seductive nature of absolute power and how good intentions can be corrupted. Luke's initial desire to help could be overshadowed by the intoxicating allure of control, leading him down a path where he becomes blind to the very suffering he sought to end. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of justifying extreme actions for perceived noble causes. The rebellion's diametric opposition to this ideology highlights the enduring conflict between freedom and order. While the Empire seeks to impose unity through dominance, the rebels fight for individuality, diversity, and self-determination. Luke's alignment with the Empire puts him at odds with these values, setting the stage for a philosophical battle as much as a physical one. It challenges the audience to consider the complexities of governance and the sacrifices made in the name of peace. Final thoughts. So what if Luke Skywalker joined the dark side? The galaxy would undoubtedly plunge into darkness, but history shows that even in the bleakest times, hope can find a way to endure. New heroes might rise, And the indomitable spirit of freedom could spark revolutions unforeseen by even the most powerful Sith. This thought experiment underscores the impact of individual choices and the interconnectedness of destinies. It's a testament to the depth of Star Wars that such explorations can lead to meaningful discussions about morality, power, and the human, or galactic, condition. Ultimately, it reminds us that the saga's core themes are timeless and universal. If you enjoyed this hypothetical hyperspace jump, smash that like button like a wampa swatting at a snowspeeder. And don't forget to subscribe. We promise our content is more reliable than a stormtrooper's aim. Thanks for tuning into Galactic Theories. Until next time, keep your reactors running and your parsecs fast. Remember, the Force will be with you. Just make sure you're on the right side of it.